Welcome in to this Tuesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, football practice. Lane Kiffin going a little early, going remote today. Just a little PSA. We'll do the same thing tomorrow for a different reason, but hope all you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday morning. We will try to dissect a little of what actually happened with the House settlement, keep Neil from lighting matches after Claudia Wilkin and the attorneys and all the people talk for hours and hours and hours yesterday. We'll try to make it a Cliff Notes version of that. Ole Miss begins a 5-game baseball week tonight. They are at FedEx Park in Memphis, 6 o'clock start time on that one. I've got some preview stuff up at the site and also took a look at all of Ole Miss's situational numbers offensively in SEC play, try to decipher what is going well, what is going wrong for the Rebels so far, 8-4 in the SEC, 24-7 overall here after 31 games, 32 games, whatever it is here at this point. Florida has won the men's basketball national title. All Neal's NIL money going to good work there in Gainesville as Todd Golden and his Gators pull it off last night. Fun game. They led for only 117 of the entire outing. Houston doesn't get the shot off there at the end. SEC gets its title, the first one since Kentucky in 2012, to cap off, not even arguable, the most dominant conference season in NCAA basketball history. So we'll talk plenty of that stuff and more coming up here on the show. Show brought to you every day. Blue Sky locations throughout the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well. Look, remember, if there's a Sweet Daddy's nearby, you not only get lunch specials here locally, that's $5.69, 2 sides bread, any size fountain drink. You also get catering options. Those are ribs, pulled pork, that is side items, desserts, tons of stuff there to feed as big of a group as you would like. Or if you just want to take care of dinner tonight, call ahead, wrap it up. They'll have it ready to go for you with Blue Sky. And Neal is situated in the Clark Ford studio.
I am. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. There's a thread on the message board, has some information about it all this month at Clark Ford. You've got employee pricing. So if you are in the market for a Ford vehicle, be a great month to go take advantage of that deal. Get prices that you won't otherwise get, prices that you have to be a Ford employee to get. They get them. You get them this month at Clark Ford. 662-257-1900 is the number to call if you have any questions. Check it out. Check out Clark Ford on Facebook, on the internet. Again, 662-257-1900. Guests join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Daniel Cotto asking, does this mean the SEC traded football dominance for the other two sports? No, I think last year was a blip. I'm still going to guess best athletes and most money, or at least tied for the most money, will equal football success again. I don't think we're ready to knock all the thorns off the SEC when it comes to its football rows here at this point. So no, I think it's going to be all right. I think it does. I think we are just in the middle of a crazy basketball situation, though. That's not ending anytime soon. They're going to replenish.
Yeah, crazy and basketball definitely go together these days. I saw where the Athletic put out a way too early top 25, and it was so funny to me how many schools were like portal player to be like expected stars.
They literally said portal player 1, 2, A, B, whatever it said. I saw it too.
Crazy. Crazy. I mean, I just read it and was like, what are we doing? But it's what we're doing. And like I said yesterday.
Look, Ole Miss isn't listed, guys. Don't waste mileage being offended, please. Like, just give me some sanity and don't be offended today.
I have a theory that there are people on the internet, lots of them, who are only there to argue. And the people in the comment thread on that story prove my argument. I rest my case.
They argue?
About
a way too early top 25?
Yeah, where the people admit it's way too early, put that in the headline, do it, and throughout the story point out this is really silly. I mean, you can't. Like, how – and I wanted to see if they put Ole Miss in there too, because the whole time I was like, how would you be able to put Ole Miss in there right now?
Well, I
projected
didn't think they
starters.
would, and they didn't once I saw the projected starter line. Because for Ole Miss, it would literally have to say Malik Dia and then Porter player 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I thought,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I,
Unless you
I'm,
went,
I'm
you'd have to put to minimize that. You'd have to put Klafke
Klafke and the freshman.
and I guess Robert Cowherd, who I
Yeah.
heard yesterday come back. I mean, I don't know how that's. I mean, you can't. So
So we got plenty of sports. I want to look through a little bit of a mock draft. Mel Kiper put his last mock draft up. We do have some basketball things that I find of note, and then the house settlement. But if I'm being honest, I'm stalling for a minute because I just don't want to talk about it. But we do need to talk about it, and I will hit the cliff notes there of that from yesterday. But two things first. First, I got a really good chuckle at this morning. There's a story out about it's about politics and Nintendo Switch being caught up in the tariff thing. But you know the Nintendo of America boss, the CEO for Nintendo of America, his last name is Bowser.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I really got a kick out of that this morning. I couldn't help it.
That's
Uh,
funny.
yeah, yeah. And then two, where are you falling on this whole regenerating the wolf species that we apparently did yesterday, where we have recreated the formerly extinct
Yeah,
animal?
I saw where they had the wolf cubs howling.
Yeah, so for catch anybody up real quick, it's a startup, it's a biotech startup called Colossal. They had a $10.2 billion valuation at its last funding round in January, and it says now they've created three dire wolves, an animal that's been extinct outside of your favorite fantasy series. I'm reading from Morning Brew, featuring an Iron Throne for over 12,000 years. The three wolves, two males named Remus and Romulus, and one female named Khaleesi, are expected to weigh 140 pounds when fully grown. They were bred by studying DNA of dire wolves from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull. Scientists made 20 edits to 14 different genes from a gray wolf to match the much larger, stark white ancient wolf and inserted them into egg cells that got implanted into surrogate dogs. Colossal has snagged media attention in the past for promising to bring back the woolly mammoth, but this is the first fully resurrection since its woolly mouse announcement in March. Big name investors are attracted to the company's controversial but highly disrupted genome engineering innovations, which could have medical applications. Where are we at?
I mean, we're doing a little bit of playing God. I'm sure there are some positive things that can come from this.
The
You do
people
wonder
that
if
did
like
Dolly, the clone of the sheep, did that go anywhere else back in the day?
I don't know.
Or did that end there?
I don't know. I mean, what's to stop them from bringing the dinosaurs back?
Well, we have to have do we have accurate fossils we can grab from to do that? I don't know.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, I'm kind of caught between, huh? I don't know. And then part of me goes, I don't know, it's pretty cool. Like just from a straight, I mean, it's neat stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Not
I mean, these people clearly did not watch Jurassic Park. That got ugly. Got ugly. When all of a sudden you got a dinosaur just eating tourists. Not good.
there. Yeah, I mean, as Doris said, and as Jeffrey's bit forever, there's still dinosaurs. We just have names for them now, and they're smaller. It's all the stuff in the Amazon.
That's a good point.
Look at that dog-sized spider and tell me that's not some creature from millions of years ago.
We don't have like Tyrannosaurus Rex roaming around.
We don't know. That is accurate.
You bring that back, and all of a sudden, everybody's just enjoying a football game somewhere, and all of a sudden, here comes a dinosaur stepping right into the stadium and eating section M.
So you're against this innovation.
Not against it, just pointing out that,
You would like some guardrails.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what are you going to do with these wolves when they become adults? You going to set them free? Now you get messing with the ecosystem.
Yeah, because where do you put them, and how do they interact in the food chain? How does it work?
I don't know.
Are you
They're
just
gonna,
trying to are you just trying to domesticate all of them?
yeah, I don't want a 140-pound wolf in the house.
I mean, we have dogs that weigh that.
Yeah, but they're domesticated.
Well, these
Very
are
domestic.
too. They don't know. They don't know wild. They haven't existed in thousands of years.
You don't know what's in. You don't know what's inside those instincts, man.
I
Like
mean,
I
I do.
never look at Gus and
Look.
Riz
Maybe there's a real answer
somewhere.
here. I am kind of with Grind. What's the point? Like, what are we?
Fair,
Is it
fair.
medical? Is this directly leading to a medical innovation of note, or are we simply just trying to do something to do it?
Yeah, I have a medical take that I'm just going to leave to myself because it's too
Okay.
controversial.
All right. Good point, Stephen. Can they create a mascot for Ole Miss? Let's hybrid this bad boy out.
They could, but my money's on Ole Miss screwing it up. You had a
I mean, I'm
bear.
kind of with Cody. They spent $10 billion on a funding round. Like, okay, what tangible purpose that helps the world? Just to say we built a wolf that was cool? That's all. That's all I got. I'm not really trying to bait Neil, but I feel like I kind of am at the same time. I see his face. Known him for a long time. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, it's right there. I mean, I've got a thought. I
uh,
mean, I've watched the last few years.
yeah.
All the last few years has done is made me think, you know what? You're probably onto something.
So, how do you want me to handle this house settlement thing? You mean just run through the cliffs, and you want to stop me when you have a thought or a take on each sentence? What do you want to do?
Can we first talk about Bucky McMillan yesterday and just raise a glass?
Oh,
Bucky
please.
Bucky suffered yesterday. And I don't have any reason to dislike Bucky McMillan.
Bucky McMillan, the former Mountain Brook prodigy that took over at Samford, became a huge name in mid-major coaching with his frenetic style of play, and now the new head coach of your Texas Fighting Aggies.
You know, I'm completely in on the Texas A&M hate now. I watched this yesterday.
You weren't
You know,
already,
I was, but like Jimbo sort of deserved it.
but you saw Mike Elko do this too when he got hired.
Yeah, but he knew what he was coming back to. And there was a moment yesterday watching Bucky McMillan where you could see the moment where in his
So you think in Bucky's eyes he knew the score?
he realized I've sold out. You know,
We're referring to him locking arms with the administration at Texas A&M and doing the Aggie war hymn,
and can we
the
talk about the
swaying.
word? Can we talk about the words to that song?
I'll pull them up for you.
It's saw varsity's horns off.
Which is
Saw
the former name of Bebo.
horns off. Saw varsity's
I'm
horns off.
telling you, Neil. If you
Short.
watch one video today,
What
one
does that mean?
video. If you watch one video today, you have to Google it and find the wedding videos where they do the Aggie war hymn at weddings. If you're Texas A&M alumni, and they're all in the big room in their tux doing the whole deal.
So they say saw his horns off, and then they do the short A thingy that he does that is so. Ugh. And then it's varsity's horns are sawed off, varsity's horns are sawed off, varsity's horns are sawed off, and then short A. What is
That is
short A?
correct. That's the chant after the second verse. The second verse, goodbye to Texas University, so long to the orange and white. Good luck to dear old Texas Aggies. They are the boys that show the real old fight. The eyes of Texas are upon you. That is the song they sing so well. So goodbye to Texas University. We're gonna beat you all to Chickaraboo. I don't know, something rough, tough, real stuff. Texas A&M. Saw varsity's horns off. I mean, if you ever needed an example of we are completely obsessed with you and we are the most little brother of all little brothers, our
Yep.
entire existence in one song is about you.
Yep.
I, we literally have orange and white, we have the eyes of Texas, and we have varsity mentioned 8 times in this song.
It's complete obsession.
I mean,
You know, if I were Texas, I would put out a restraining order. I would. I would say, if Texas were my daughter and Texas A&M were an ex-boyfriend, I would say we need to contact the authorities. Total obsession.
I mean, Ryan's right. They're more obsessed with Texas than winning.
100%.
It's not close.
They get more pleasure out of Texas losing than they do winning. And that's when you know immediately you've lost. When you draw an inordinate amount of happiness from a rival losing, that means more to you than you winning. You've lost. You lost the breakup.
Even the outro has Austin in it. Late one night when the T-Sips were in bed. What is a T-Sip? Is that a Texas person they're using?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Old Soul Ross took a lantern in the shed. The Aggie kicked it over. He winked and then he said, "There'll be a hot time in in Austin tonight."
And that's about killing the Longhorn, right?
Or I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't have an interpretation on that.
Well, and isn't sawing off a bull's horns kind of cruel? Right? That would be cruel.
Yes, and again, I believe Varsity was the name of the Longhorn prior to a name Bevo. I believe that is correct. Yes.
And they ought to just change it now to saw Bevo's horns off. I mean, just admit that you're talking about that. Just own it.
T-Sip, a student of Texas A&M's arch rival, the University of Texas at Austin. The term is intended to be derogatory, the origin being that while Aggies were off fighting wars, Texas students were sipping tea at home.
Oh. That's harsh. I'm still.
Was there a moment when you're watching Bucky and going, "Yeah, Beard's never going to A&M"? Never mind.
Oh, okay. I mean, I almost tweeted this, but it wasn't worth it. Someone mentioned Andy Kennedy for that job, and I was like, I mean, he's my friend, and I would have been like, "No, you can't do that," because you're gonna have. Can you imagine Chris Beard at that? Like someone mentioned Lane Kiffin for Texas A&M. I mean, think about it for just a moment.
The level of uncomfortable cringe of Lane Kiffin touching someone and swaying.
No way. No way.
Because Lane's less likely than Beard.
Oh yeah, but Beard. Can you imagine Chris Beard having to lock arms and sway to a with other men to a song about sawing off? I mean, that's a lot.
7.3 million, 7.3 million, 7.3 million. You chain it over and over and over again in your head.
But Bucky had that look on his face of, God, this is what it's like to sell your soul, isn't it? Right here. You get the money. And they walked him into Kyle Field, and it's 103,000 seats. And he's like, boy, there's some resources here. I'm going to buy me some players. But then he has to go to that press conference and sing the song. Buzz left for Maryland. Tells you all you need to know. Buzz just wanted out.
College Park sucks.
Just wanted out. Wanted normalcy.
The lyrics were written in 1918.
Yeah. It's the last time Texas A&M won a title in anything either.
Hey, 1980.
I'm sorry. Just all right. We can talk house settlement now.
Well, I was looking here. We are, but I do kind of agree. Like we like Texas has its own problems. I still like rooting against Texas in a lot of ways. It's fun when they lose. But I'm with Grind. We met A&M a decade before we met Texas, and that did us all a disservice.
100%. I get where Texas hates them. I totally understand.
When they play each other, it's almost impossible to pull for A&M over Texas.
I cheer for Texas every time.
Yeah.
And I don't like Texas much.
I mean Texas is a bunch of arrogant assholes, but sure, whatever.
I mean, Texas is like, we have a great brand, and you're like, you do. I mean,
you do. Hard to argue.
No, it's impossible to argue. If you want me to tell somebody that they're being irrational, that Texas's brand sucks, I'm like, yeah, which part? Yeah. The cool helmet with the horns, the completely unique burnt orange, the fact that
you
they're
recognize anywhere. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sucks. Hook 'em, the whole everything. Everyone doing the horns down is. I mean, they're so obsessed with the horns that's. I mean, come on. No,
That's
it's the
that's one of Texas' biggest flaws is they get so irrationally upset at somebody doing the horns down.
yeah, yeah. But I'm just talking about the brand. The
Yeah, I
brand
know.
itself is elite.
No, Doors. I understand the question, but if you had to do a week in Fresno or a week in College Station, it's College Station. You're not doing a week in Fresno.
That week in Fresno, man. But better get your affairs in order. Just go tell you. Be careful with colors.
All right. Stop me where you want. I'm just going to read here from a
Stop.
compilation of sentences. So
Stop.
it, it's really
Stop.
convoluted. Claudia Wilkin did not approve it yesterday.
No.
We didn't expect her to approve it. She pulled up multiple issues. I don't know where it's going, guys. But here, let's go through it a little bit. So I'm just reading again here. I'm reading from D1 Ticker because they did the best job of summarizing it in multiple reports. As expected, U.S. District Court Judge Claudia Wilkin did not issue a final ruling on the House case, but remarked when wrapping up the hearing, quote, basically, I think it's a good settlement. Don't quote me. I think it's worth pursuing, and I think some of these things could be fixed if people tried to fix them, and that it would be worth their while to try to fix them, end quote. Regarding what she would like to see changed, Ross Dellinger notes that, quote, Wilkin was clear, change the roster limit situation or risk not having me approve the settlement. Wilkin explained that my idea is to grandfather in those currently on rosters. It would save a lot of angst. So she's frustrated by the number of athletes losing their spots because of this settlement, because you're trimming rosters in every sport because of that.
And so the
Um,
school's response to that is okay, but how are we paying for all this?
exactly. It's the complete. I mean, what my first aside, it won't be the only one, is it is my frustration with the entire case in a nutshell is that we are trying to act business principled on all these decisions while just not even understanding the elephant in the room of it's not a for-profit entity that can turn a profit because they have too many other expenses. So you're taking a school system and an NCAA amateur situation and throwing it in with all these business principles, putting them in a big hat, pulling them all out at once, and saying, why does it doesn't work? It's like because it's not built to work. So there's always going to be these issues in this way. There's no way around it.
You know, I muted a lot of people on Twitter over the last several weeks, and so I got no response to this. I quote tweeted Dellinger with, "This doesn't work because you're trying to hammer a professional model
Mm-hmm.
into a amateur framework.
Yes.
You are essentially doing this the square peg into a round hole.
Yes.
You're trying to make it fit. It's never going to fit. And it's you can't do this without pain. You can't do this without loss. I mean, this is the she's up there going, okay, yes, all right, yes, we all need to go on a diet, yes, but I don't think we should give up chocolate cake or breakfast. But the idea of us all losing weight's a great idea.
Yeah, I would approve the diet idea, but hey, we got to make sure the carbs stay up above about 200 grams a day.
Yeah. And I understand that nobody here wants to go exercise. I understand that. So listen, we're going to have to do a modicum of exercise, but we'll keep the chocolate cake. Ain't nobody losing weight, man. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it doesn't work. It was amazing. She said, collective bargaining would probably solve this, but that's not in this suit. And I kind of wanted to have my JD Vance moment with, are you listening to yourself?
But that's not her fault. This is the suit they
Oh,
brought to her. I mean,
no,
like,
it's her fault. It's the fault of all these people that
yeah, I
are
mean, in
going
some
to.
ways, she's in a terrible spot here because she's going. It's like yesterday, earlier, and I don't think this is in here, so I'll pull this out real quick. She wanted to separate the settlement into like three different things. Because she said this doesn't make sense on the whole, but if we did this and this, then maybe so. And they were like, no, 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 it's one thing. You just have to pass it as is. And she's like, oh my God. And Dellinger reports that she turned most of her attention to two concepts: the roster limits, as we said, and the settlement's injunctive class, which I find the most fascinating part of all this. Athletes, even those not currently in college, are automatically part of the 10-year settlement's injunctive class that releases any future legal claims that they might have, which we have pointed out for months is the main problem in this because you can't guarantee that. It is impossible in every way. I mean, she kept saying over and over again, you guys are putting in a settlement that is affecting a 10-year-old currently playing kickball. That was her go-to phrase yesterday that she kept mentioning over and over and over again. She called the latter a difficult concept, adding, I'm having trouble with binding people who aren't here and releasing claims for things that haven't happened. She recommended attorneys adjust the language in the settlement agreement so that future athletes are only part of the injunctive class once they are provided an opportunity to object to the deal after joining a D1 program. Counsel for the power conferences said the 10-year injunctive class is necessary, and without it, there will not be stability and there will not be a deal. She then replied, see what you can think you can do about all these issues. Maybe some you can fix or some you can't, but can you give me a better explanation? Like, this is what is so stupid because she's right. She's going, okay, I got a 10-year-old currently playing youth baseball that you're wanting to lock into a deal and say that when he gets in college, he has no right to appeal or argue anything that goes on because of the thing we're doing right now. And yet the other side goes, well, this is the only way we're going to pass it. So sorry, pass it anyway.
Yeah. There's an 8-year-old out there right now who's
Yes.
the next Cooper Flagg.
Yep.
Okay. The next Walter Clayton Jr. He's 8, 9 years old. He's, what's that, third grade? He's going to third grade today.
Yeah, second or third grade.
He's going to dominate some lunchtime basketball with his buddies on the playground. And he's going to be opting in to a deal that has a cap that his predecessors did not collectively bargain. How's that work?
I understand that the guy's just trying to get the settlement passed and he's an attorney and he's just fighting for his little narrow scope of what he wants. But this is a very frustrating thing to read and watch because here it kind of gets worse. The Athletics' Justin Williams reporting. Kalaru, who is, again, the NCAA Power Conference counsel, the main representative for them in this hearing, he told Wilkin, quote, I just want to really reiterate here, there was a long road to get to this point. We needed a lot of schools to approve it. There are a lot of different pieces to this settlement. I cannot make you any promises that we're going to say anything is different because we think what we did is appropriate and enough, but we'll take it under advisement and come back, end quote. As far as the timeline goes, she remarked, quote, I would like you to all think about what you heard today and what I've said today. Talk about it with your clients, talk about it with each other, see what you think you can do about all these issues. We have at least some sort of report in a week, and at that point we decide what to do next. She also noted, quote, you're the ones who are in touch with people with a time problem, not me, but I would like to schedule things. Like, this is what's getting me too, is his argument is basically, hey, we put a lot of work into this, so just screw it. It is what it is. So approve it. Like, there's no other real basis for why she'd approve it. Just simply, hey, we spent a lot of time on it, so here. That's it. Like, that's it. That's the crux of his entire argument.
And she's literally admitting out loud in a courtroom while wearing
that it's not going to hold up
a robe that this is violating the rights of people that right now don't really realize their rights are being violated.
Well, and then, okay, then here, the plaintiff's attorney, which, who the hell is the plaintiff in this case?
I don't know.
Because the athletes aren't actually represented. So who's the plaintiff? Okay, their attorney, Steve Berman, don't know, told Wilkin, quote, I understand the question you're on, but I think it's solved in our case in particular by giving this future notice a right to object. You've got to have a system that applies across the athletes. We think that what we're doing is actually better than doing a class by class, plaintiff's attorney Kessler added. At a minimum, we will agree to iron out a procedure for future objections. We can give you some process on fixing data errors. There's some things where I'm sure they'll be able to address some of your concerns. So hold on a minute. Which one is it? On one side, no, 10 years locked in, no whatever, and now you're going, hey, we're going to put in a process for objection. This makes no
Oh,
sense.
you make a great point. This has never made sense. This is, hey, we can't fix this ourselves. We want someone to fix it for us.
You ready for the next part that you're going to laugh at? You ready? You got a match handy?
I just lit one.
Okay, well, you're going to need another one. Steve
Okay.
Berkowitz, USA Today now, he focused on the NIL portion of this deal. Provides more context. He says that, quote, Judge Wilkins says she needs a pro-competitive justification for the proposed system under the settlement that would set up a more stringent evaluation by the NCAA and conferences of the athletes' NIL deals that are worth more than $600. That's the Deloitte thing. That is, how would this promote competition for athletes' NIL services, and how would it not hurt athletes? Chiaro, the other guy, the conference guy, says these evaluations are necessary to prevent circumvention of the school's annual cap on direct NIL payments and to athletes, and that it's part of the overall agreement. She responded, each thing in the agreement needs to be reasonable. Berkowitz, USA Today, has this from the attorney. We need a 10-year agreement. That's got to be the same rules for everyone. We need the 10 years. Without that, there will not be stability and there will not be a deal. Berkowitz comes back and says that Wilkins still wants to know what happens if she or another judge decides that a future objector has sufficient problems to merit a change in the agreement. Kessler, the plaintiff's attorney, comes back and says, well, then a judge would be allowed to terminate the settlement.
So the first time it gets challenged, it gets completely terminated.
Per Kessler, the plaintiff's attorney, whoever the hell that is.
Yeah, if I'm an athletic director, I'm quitting today. I mean, how do you even plan for this? What do
Every
you do?
CFO in the country should go, hey, the private sector sounds really good right now.
Yeah.
Can we do real invest like financing? Can we do finance? Can we do that?
Okay. Job in an accounting firm, especially like get your retirement and go. How do you plan for this?
It's an impossibility.
I mean, go back to the athletics, top 25, way too early, top 25, and all the portal stuff. So are we out? I mean, if you're Chris Beard today, your question is, so are we, is this a system or not? What are we doing? How do you make that decision right now?
Mm-hmm.
I think there are going to be no rules, and we're just going to go forward, and this thing is just going to figure itself out, if you will. I bet the ratings last night were really good. There's looks like a lot of people there. I mean, I kept saying this. Logically, this should not be appealing to people, but it is.
Free agency is appealing to people, not the business portion of it.
Yes, but if I told you I'm asking a question. This is not rhetorical. If I told you that, hey, at the end of the coming NFL season, 70% of the players will be free agents, would that be attractive? If you said, okay, projecting the starting lineups for the Steelers, Packers, Lions, Saints, whoever, and you're like, 3/5 of the spots are free agent to be determined. Would that be attractive? I'm starting to think
it's not attractive compared to that model. I guess my point is there's pliability in the fan base or in fan bases, not one particular fan base, where they are finding a way to still be committed and involved. And for programs that are winning, they're okay with this model because it still is letting them win games. As soon as you start losing, that ends at each individual place. And no, the model is not better overall. It's just simply it's been flexible for a number of programs to this point, including Ole Miss. Where does that go? I don't know. Because look, the money is what it is. I mean, you've been talking about it. You've been proven right multiple times. Yesterday on three came out with a story saying that point guards are the main premium in this year's men's basketball transfer portal. Said that they are pegging the market at 500,000 to 2.5 million for high
Mm-hmm.
level players. Multiple top guards have landed deals north of 2 million in recent weeks. Most guards landed $1 million deals in last year's portal. Now that's been shaken up. It mentions several different players who were in line for a ton of money. Elite wings run anywhere from 800,000 to 2 million. Shooters with size are another spot on the hardwood that programs are willing to spend dollars on. Unlike the point guard market that's pushing the 2.5 to 3 range, most of the wings are sitting between 800K and 1 million, with some climbing to 1.5. Louisville went all out to land shooting guards Adrian Woolley and Ryan Conwell, who sources said are both valued at north of $1 million. Significant increase in value compared to a year ago, when multiple top shooting guards were valued about 500,000. Power forwards and centers are going for 750,000 to 2 million, and they note that the majority of the deals are between 1.5 and 1.8, but there are outliers. Sources have indicated one of the top available big men in the portal landed a contract north of $3 million.
Is that Yaxel?
Doesn't say.
Okay. Yeah, I was asked to put the over under on Yaxel, and I put it at 2.5, and I had someone tell me it's over.
Dallas Rep, thanks for Super Chat. Thanks to Neil for your thoughts on Florida. Took them 25-1 on December post pod. So
Oh, you're welcome.
got a little hit there. So
Think of your boy.
did you watch?
Yeah, I watched a good bit of it. I wasn't glued to it, but I watched a good bit of it. It was a good game. Houston.
Did you stay with Florida when you wanted Florida to win throughout?
Yeah. I cheered for Florida. I knew, and I got the tweet that validated me. When I got the complaining about officiating tweet, I knew right away that we were doing the anti SEC thing, and I was like, yes, SEC, and I chomp. Yep, SEC.
Yeah,
It was.
I was pulling for Florida throughout the game. When it ended, like, I kind of hated Houston didn't get a shot off. I just wanted to see the ball in the air. And I would have been fine with Houston winning, but I was kind of with you there. Steven, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. He said, how much did the SEC make in the NCAA tournament and how was the payout distributed? They got 35 points, and each point was worth whatever that dollar figure was. It came out to, don't quote me, I think 70 something million for the league as
Yeah,
a whole.
yeah, I
And
think
then
that's
that
right.
would get separated into 16 units, 17 units. So,
17.
yeah, do the math. Definitely a chunk of change. You could buy at least a point guard.
Yeah, everybody's
Um,
getting about 4 million
hmm
each, a little over 4.
Yeah, something like that. Florida finishes 36-4 on the season.
I mean, look, in all seriousness, for a minute, it's a team that was put together with mostly guys that signed there. A handful of transfers. I thought Todd Golden did a great job with this team. This season started with controversy surrounding him that never seemed to impact them. They got the big Micah Hangloten back in kind of late January, early February, and that seemed to embolden them a little bit, even though he was not a starter. They were a team that could beat you in a number of different ways. They could beat you with size. They could beat you with guard play. Sure enough, last night the game was gritty and physical, and they answered that bell. I think you have to give Todd Golden, and no matter whether you like him or not, and a lot of people don't, but I think you have to give them a lot of credit. They play with an edge. They're cocky. They're a little mouthy, but they play with that edge pretty consistently. And you know they went to Auburn and won. That was a warning sign that they were real. They beat Auburn again in a semi. They took some shots, took some challenges in the tournament, but they always answered the bell over and over and over. That's the thing about that team. They got blown out at Tennessee. Just kept coming. They always answered the bell. 36-4 playing in the SEC this year. a league that had 7 teams in the Sweet 16. That speaks volumes. They are a worthy champion. They just are.
They have a good bit of their front court back next year too.
Yeah, they'll be very competitive again. I would assume. I mean, they're going to lose Clayton, but no, they return a lot. I think Hangloten's going to stay. They're going to have depth up front. That they will be absolutely be a contender. And if the schedules hold, they'll come to Oxford next year. That'll be a hot ticket.
And I think they will. Look like schedules are going to hold. I noticed that Louisville is up in the top 5 in all these preseason things just because of or way too early things, not preseason, because of those 2 impact guard pickups.
Not one 5-star recruit on the court last night.
Is that what it was?
Yep, not one.
Where did Clayton start? Iona?
I think so.
Okay. He was silent for 25 minutes.
I get what people say about that. I mean, what you have to just, I had this conversation with someone yesterday. We're talking about AJ Storr, the former Wisconsin player who spent last season at Kansas. He's in the portal. There's been an Ole Miss mention in the media. I have no proof that that's right or wrong. I certainly cannot confirm it. But let's say he goes someplace other than Kansas next season. In the last 8 years, including high school, he would have been at 8 schools.
Oh, really?
I mean, if you believe that part of college is developing people for professional life, you cannot look at that and go, that's a good thing. That means that as soon as there's adversity, you're leaving.
Well, and look, I completely agree with you. So this is just a podcast devil's advocate. But the other side is it's not our job to regulate bad decisions.
Oh, no, absolutely. I've said that all along. It's where I've told you this about the NFL, about Major League Baseball stuff. I think it's a dumb decision that a player can't leave college after 1 year to go play pro. I hate it. And when people go, well, rosters, well, you have the transfer portal now. Shut up. And if a kid goes, well, it's a bad decision, it's not your spot to regulate the bad decision.
Mm-mm.
You telling me Paul Skeens really needed that year at LSU?
He's doing all right. He's fun.
He's a stud.
2-round mock draft coming out, ESPN.com. Mel Kiper, I think. 3 Rebels in the top 2 rounds here. I'll get to them in a minute. Your top 10 picks, Cam Ward still going number 1 to the Titans. Okay. Sorry.
Speaking of the Titans,
yeah, I was going to give you room for that. Go ahead.
Congratulations to my friend Taylor Zarzer, the new voice of the Tennessee Titans. I've known Taylor for almost 25 years. He and I started a radio show in Mobile, Alabama in late February, early March of 2002. And I had the pleasure and of working with Taylor on that show for a little over 2 years before he went to North Carolina. I probably should have gone with him. I didn't. I stayed in Mobile. You know the rest of that story. But this was his dream to get a job like this. And he has spent 3 decades pursuing it. And I texted with him a little bit last night. I was super thrilled for him. And he's a role model for young people who want to achieve something. Put the work in. Put the work in. He's done high school sports, the SEC stuff. He's taken the SEC crap game of the week for years and embraced it and done a lot
of golf.
done a phenomenal job with the PGA Tour on Sirius XM, and this was a huge get for him. He'll do a phenomenal job. I've seen some Titans fans say, "What? Hey, who's this guy?" or whatever. The one thing you can know as a Titans fan is that he will be eminently prepared for every single broadcast. He will do a phenomenal job. So I'm super happy for my friend, and I won't keep belaboring the point, but it was I saw the news yesterday, and I mean I got a lump in my throat because I knew that was someone who worked really, really hard for that. And
How old is Taylor?
Late 40s.
Okay. Okay.
But awesome accomplishment for him. I was just super excited for him, as excited for someone. I mean, I have nothing to gain from this at all. I mean, just so excited for him. Great person from a phenomenal family, and his father is, I have to believe, looking down from heaven today, just so excited. His dad was a big NFL fan, huge Miami Dolphins fan, and for Taylor to be the voice of one of the 32 NFL franchises has to just, I have to believe that he is just beaming with pride.
It looks like he's going to get to talk about Cam Ward a good bit. That has become almost unanimous here with Ward going #1 overall to the Titans. Travis Hunter, 2 to the Browns. Abdul Carter, 3 to the Giants. If I'm the Giants, I'm okay with that. If I'm Jeffrey, I'm not upset. They're passing and letting that be what that is. Patriots, Will Campbell, 4, LSU, that offensive tackle. Jacksonville Jaguars, Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. Ashton Johnson, the Raiders, running back, Boise State. At #6, Missouri offensive tackle, Mimbu, 7 to the Jets. Panthers, Jalen Walker, linebacker, Georgia, at 8. My New Orleans Saints, #9, Shadir Sanders, quarterback, Colorado.
I'm so sorry.
I mean,
what's your reaction on draft night? If Shadir, I mean, I know you've hit the point. You've kind of hit the point with the Saints where I hit with the Cubs for a while, which is just kind of like whatever.
I need a reset, and they refuse to reset. We just keep spending more money. I mean, we have maxed out every credit card known to man, and we just keep getting more. I mean, we're at the point of cashing those things you get in the mail that say, "Hey, $2,500 at 48% interest." Like, we're doing that at this point. You know,
They send you the big thing. It says $65,000, and you're like, "Sounds great. Sign me up."
Yeah. You only have to pay back 142. Okay. I have 2 nice things to say about him. One, he is incredibly accurate. He completed 74% of his throws last year. Doesn't necessarily try to make a bunch of dumb decisions. And in all seriousness, for all the stuff around him in every way, he got the hell beat out of him at Colorado. Their offensive line was awful.
Yeah.
And he never turned on them or publicly jumped on his teammates. And I will give him credit for that.
Oh, I think he's a great guy.
Yeah, I will give him tons of credit for that.
I think he's a natural leader. There's a lot of stuff there. I just don't know that he's got.
No, I haven't. I mean, because you're hitching your wagon at that point, and that no. Like I'm
picking man. That's the danger zone. That's not taking a flyer on the 3rd round quarterback. Or if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Take
Whatever.
the best available and then figure it out in the 2nd round, or just hold. Just hold. It's cool. If Dart's there in round 2, then grab him. If not, then okay. He's not going to be, but nonetheless.
I don't think Jackson's going to be in the 2nd round.
No, I'm frustrated. Mel Kiper says this is a great outcome for New Orleans. Like this match a lot. Okay, thanks, Mel.
Mel had a day, though.
Mel had a day. I like the Bears draft a lot in this mock. They have Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State, going 10 to them in the 1st round. Damn good player.
Giving Caleb Williams another weapon.
Mm-hmm. Let me scroll down. I'll find anything interesting. I'm not going to run through the rest of the first round picks. Let's see. Kelvin Banks was banged up for Texas. They got him going 18 to the Seahawks. Um, let's see.
Where's Pittsburgh going at 21?
Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon.
Okay. So
He
that tells
says, I
me
originally had Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart to Pittsburgh. He throws with accuracy and velocity, and he'd be a potential short and long term answer. We're all waiting to see what happens with Rodgers, so I'll hold off on my quarterback moves for the Steelers until we know a little more. That was Kuiper's prediction there.
okay.
Speaking of, he does have Dart going 26 to the LA Rams, which I think is the best possible scenario for Jackson in every way. Says, I love this pick because the potential Rams coach Sean McVay could develop Dart into a legit future starter. I say future because Matthew Stafford's contract restructure keeps him in Los Angeles for at least another season, but he's 37 and the Rams have to make plans for 2026 and beyond. Dart can hit receiver strike zones on a rope, and his ability to throw on the run is fun to watch. He had blah, 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 and this pick would bring him back to the West Coast. Spent 2021 at USC before transferring to Ole Miss. Given a season to learn under Stafford and transition to the NFL game after playing in Lane Kiffin's RPO happy offense, he has a high ceiling in the pros.
Yeah, numerically, it's probably a little lower than what he would want, but in terms of fit and long-term potential and
Perfect.
stuff, that's probably as great a fit as he could find.
The
Get a
only
year,
negative of that pick at all is there is a lot of scuttlebutt every year that McVay is going to step away and not do this long term.
right?
So,
And at some point, it stands to reason, but so far he's stuck it out.
mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Only two more picks in the first two rounds. So, I mean, this is not. It feels like the trend here is not for Ole Miss to light up the first round in this draft. I know that was kind of the talk a month ago that it was possible. By the way, Jeffrey, I'm sorry, I spoke too soon. Giants taking a quarterback in the second round, one Jalen Milroe. So
Oh God, was that necessary, Chase?
I'm sorry. It's not Thursday.
Jeffrey gives us his time every week, free of charge. No, I mean let's talk about this for a minute. Let's this is I'm gonna give you a little. It's time we have a little self help for Chase.
Okay.
He gives his time freely. It's a big part of what we've done, what we've built. You know that he's a Giants fan and that he is hurt right now. You saw it right there, an open wound, and you just took
I'm
salt and
bringing him into the conversation. He's our guy, so I am relating him to the subject
it just
matter today in
was
the content.
it was completely unnecessary for you to take that shot. And you should apologize. You won't, but you should. And that
I
was
am
wrong.
mentioning SEC players and their destinations. That is what I'm doing.
You knew precisely what you were doing just then when you did it. And right now you're doubling and tripling down on
Does
Trump.
Jeffrey not like Jalen Milroe?
As his quarterback with the New York Giants? See, what do you stop? You're horrible. Everybody goes, Neil's the jackass. Chase is the great guy. Chase is awesome. Neil's a jerk. Yeah, look who went after our friend. Wasn't me.
Oh, it did not. Let's see. What do you make of this? Walter Nolan, 39, to the Bears in a pick that was originally Carolina's. They say signing Grady Jarrett to join Gervin Dexter on the interior of the line helps, but he's turning 32 at the end of the month. And Nolan, the Bears could get another disruptive lineman who can get home with the quarterback. Had 6.5 sacks last season. His stock has not been great since Indy.
Who do they have going to Cincinnati? It's like 17, 18.
Okay, hold on.
Because there's still a lot of Bengals scuttle about Walter Nolan.
Jihad Campbell, the linebacker from Bama.
Okay.
They also mentioned Texas A&M Shamar Stewart.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know whether this is some intelligence that the Athletic has garnered from
some of it is Trey Hendrickson's status is unknown and they have to replace him if they lose him.
Right. I mean, look, there would be worse places for Walter to land than the Bears right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he would be very disappointed to go in the second round, but you can very easily build an NFL career from the second round. That's a frequent occurrence. It just means you have to get to that second contract before you kind of make up the financial difference.
Luther Burden a pick ahead of that for the New England Patriots at 38.
I'm a Burden fan, so
yeah, they want to pair him with Stephon Diggs.
I guess he doesn't have the blazing speed that you need to be a first-round pick, but I think he'll be a very successful receiver in the league.
Trey Amos, number 44 to the Dallas Cowboys. That feels low. I think Amos is going to have a really good NFL career.
Yeah.
Says he would immediately replace Jordan Lewis, the Cowboys slot corner who left in free agency.
I mean, if you told Trey Amos 2 years ago he'd be middle of a second round pick, he would have taken it.
He would have. He was underrated for the job he did this past year. He took away a half of the field.
Look,
we're going to talk about it a ton, but to this point, we have not talked about how difficult it's going to be to replace Trey Amos in this defense.
And Paul and Princely and Walter and J.J. Pegues, Jared Ivey, Trey Washington. Look, I see people out there, and listen, I hope you guys are right because it's a hell of a lot easier, and trust me, this fall it would be awesome. But that's a lot to replace defensively, in addition to replacing a first-round quarterback. If the people that are doing 10-2, I'm just telling you, 10-2, Lane Kiffin's the national coach of the year. And I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that is a lot to replace. I don't know that in today's media environment, I'm not sure that enough people are pointing out, man, that's a lot to replace.
That's all of Ole Miss's picks in the top 64. There's some questions about Princely's long-term health. Jared Ivey has been mocked in some drafts, but do not see him here. We'll see. That's where it's currently mentioned. Tupelo, I had to pull this comment out. What's more mentally draining, getting a haircut or going to the dentist? Why is getting a haircut mentally draining? I'm confused. I mean, the dentist, you got like drills and sounds and stuff and whatnot, but what's the haircut problem? I like going to get a haircut. Chat it up. It's all good. I mean, Neil gets a haircut like every 2 days. Does it himself.
I go to the barber about every 4 days. He always just turns on a podcast and he doesn't say anything to me. He just cuts my hair.
Yeah, it's the dentist. Nobody likes the dentist. I mean, you are good people. I have friends who
do you ever feel like you're going to suffocate at the dentist when they've got all the stuff in the fluid, and you ever feel like?
I don't like I have really sensitive teeth, and I get freaked out by the water, like the rinsing in my mouth.
Oh yeah,
that's what bothers me the most because I have really sensitive teeth.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you had to do the fluoride thing and it tastes so bad?
Well, you know, we got to pick our flavor. It was a little better. Like we always got like watermelon or something.
Yeah.
So it was okay. Yeah, it was better. I was looking to see anything else that even stuck out, but Judkins 51 to the Broncos. They have Henderson 40 or 41 in this mock.
Who?
Trevion Henderson.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking
the other running back.
The other running. Crenshaw was kind of the other running back.
Yeah. Until the playoffs when he kept scoring touchdowns.
It worked out for him.
It did. Yeah. An Iowa running back at 63 to the Chiefs. You guys are represented. You kind of fell off your Iowa fandom this past year.
Well, we just weren't very good, but I just ran out of time. This last football season was busy, man.
Yeah.
It was busy. I don't know why it was so busy. I guess because of soccer and stuff.
Why was the Rockets coach jawing at Steph last night?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
The Warriors
Rockets
are
coach Aduka appears to exchange words with Steph Curry heading into the locker room for halftime.
obnoxious. They talk. Who won that game?
I don't know. Let's see. Are you zoned out of the NBA because nothing else matters right now?
No, last night I watched the championship game.
Okay.
I can't do what you guys do, man. I can't do the 5 games at once thing.
Houston 106-96.
Oh, Rockets are really playing well. I don't fear the Warriors. I fear the Lakers. I don't fear the Warriors. I believe the Thunder would beat the Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think they can win 4.
The Lakers scare me.
Look, I don't think they're going to be great. I'm not willing to say that they're about to jump up into the top of the SEC or anything, but I do like. We made fun of them, and they deserve to be made fun of at the time. But LSU in basketball has made some good decisions here. They've done a lot of early stuff in the portal, tried to get some guys that at least can be some type of pieces. They're spending money. They hired Ronald Dupree, former LSU player, back to be their basketball GM. So basically, just what everybody's doing in football, they're doing from a basketball specific situation. He was a scouting director for the Bucks prior to that. I don't know. I've kind of been watching them out of my periphery a little bit, and I don't think they're a concern to take over the league by any stance. But they're also not going to finish 15th. They have given some resources and done some pretty good stuff to try to help Matt McMahon there in Baton Rouge. So just a piece to watch as it moves forward. So
Weirdest all
do
season
what?
we've covered. What was Tupelo says? What was the weirdest football season we covered?
I mean, could we ever beat 2011 in any capacity ever?
He points out 2016 was weird. I'll tell you two that I thought were really strange. 2017, 28. The Matt Luke years were weird. It wasn't Matt's fault, but they were
16. If you're going to argue this, it was 16, and and that's on the list, so I understand why you're doing it. It's that we didn't know whether they were going to be mediocre or a national championship contender. Because even when they blew those 2 halftime leads, you went, okay, which team is it? Who are you?
17 was weird. It really was. 17 was weird because you had the whole interim thing. You had the NCAA case in September. You had Hugh Freeze still living in Oxford.
Yeah.
You had all the what was the penalty going to be hanging over you? And then you had an athletic department that insisted emphatically that there was not a scenario where Matt Luke would get the permanent job, and then he does. That was a weird year. That was frankly, a hard year to cover.
It's a great podcast year.
It was a great podcast year.
Mm-hmm.
We protected some people in 16 and 17 that we, looking back, probably shouldn't have.
It's 16, 17. That's probably 2, 3. I can't. You can't make an argument that anything beats 11. It's just not
nothing
doable.
No, nothing. And 11 was great for us.
The only thing that makes it not is that we knew they were going to suck, and they sucked. There was no surprise. Because you're coming off 10 where you went, oh my God.
Yeah, but if you remember, and I'm not trying to get into the site war stuff, but everybody else was still pretty bullish. And you and we watched that one. I don't think so.
In hindsight, no. Your mom, not Judy, the username, your mom, worst decision in Ole Miss sports history was to keep Luke. No, keeping Luke allowed you to get Lane.
Yeah.
You hired Dave Doran, and Lane's not here. He's at Arkansas.
Yeah, if you hire Dave Doran, he might still be here, winning 7.5 games a year.
He'd be winning 7.6 games a year for perpetuity.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, yeah, I understand what you mean, but in actuality, that allowed you to. And look,
the worst part of the Matt Luke thing, and this is where I'm a Matt Luke defender.
No, I get it. Yeah, that's where I was going.
The worst part of the Matt Luke thing is that if you talk to enough people around coaching, they'll tell you that Matt could have been a great head coach. If you were going to hire him, you couldn't half-ass hire him. You either had to hire him or don't hire him. And instead, they tried to half-ass hire him. And so he never had a chance.
And then in like the opening press conference, they was it Ross that alluded to he was the first offensive line head coach since Vault. He compared him to Johnny Vault, and it's like stop, just.
And they made him
quit.
do the Mississippi Made thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just short-sighted. So you're only going to recruit Mississippi kids. That's not going to work. There was just so many mistakes made. If you were going to go that route, you needed to do it full-throated. You needed to be completely invested in it. Just to go, hey, this is our guy. And we're giving him time. We're giving him runway. He inherited a mess. Hugh wrecked the program. They never would fully embrace the fact that you guys have no idea what a great job 6-6 was this year.
I do kind of wonder what Matt would have done had he just gone to Troy for a few years, got some head coach experience.
Probably done really, really well.
Yeah. Think so too. All right. 5 games baseball this week. We mentioned FedEx Park tonight. Ole Miss at Memphis. Memphis is not very good. The Tigers currently are, I have it here, 12-19 overall, 1-8 in the American. Ole Miss beat them 7-5 earlier in the season in Oxford. Gunnar Dennis taking the mound for Ole Miss today. Kate Townsend will take the mound for Ole Miss tomorrow against Alcorn State. Then Tennessee in town this weekend. Again, I've got a bunch of situational stats. You should go check that out. It's fairly fascinating. Ole Miss has great numbers across the board, except for in a couple very, very clear situational issues that are haunting them a little bit when it comes to it. And you get a clear picture of who hits and who pitches and then who tries to do a little bit of everything, because these SEC numbers are funny because you've got some teams that kind of are elite at one thing and suck at the other. And where does that sort of map you out over the course of 10 weekends? I mean, even Texas, I think they're really, really, really good, but their SEC ranks offensively 10, 6, 7, 14, 7, 10, 7, 10, 3, 4, 6, 5, 12, 4. Not exactly lighting it up, but they pitch the crap out of it.
Where does that compare to LSU and Arkansas?
Well, Arkansas just hits the ever-living hell out of it. Arkansas has fascinating stats offensively. We're talking real stuff here. Couple stats for you. Arkansas is hitting 403 against left-handers in league play so far this season.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
403.
Yeah. As a team, they're hitting 403 in league play against left-handers.
Wow.
Ole Miss is hitting 304 in his fifth against left-handers. Arkansas's, again, this is average slug, on base, at bats, runs, hits, RBIs, doubles, triples, home runs, total bases, blah, 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 blah. Arkansas's SEC ranks offensively 1-1-1-2, 1-1-1-1, 5-8, 1-1-2-1.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, they're 13th in stolen bases. They don't steal bases. Okay, great.
What's LSU?
They are the most. I think LSU has the best numbers if you're really trying to say pitching and offense and what makes the most sense overall, because their offensive numbers are still good, but they also pitch the crap out of it. LSU offensively 3-5-5, 6-5, 3-6, 2-1, 7-5, 11-2-9. They're the most balanced of the big dogs at the top right now.
I would guess Arkansas's pitching numbers are not elite.
Yeah, I don't have that up right here, but they were not elite. Yeah, they were down list. Tennessee, good offensive numbers, but frankly, not Ole Miss or LSU. I'm sorry, Ole Miss or Arkansas. I mean, Ole Miss has got good numbers now. They got Missouri. You know, there's some reasons. We're only 12 games in, sample sizes and whatnot, but it's good. So
I think offensively, Ole Miss is good.
Yeah,
I really do. They strike out a little much, although that feels like, just to the naked eye, I haven't studied the numbers. That's you've done that. I haven't. It feels like that's improved in recent weeks.
Ole Miss's issues are that they've left 15 more runners on the next closest team in the conference. and they hit 235 with runners in scoring position, which is 13th in the SEC.
Yeah.
They also are 12th in the SEC, hitting 219 with 2 outs.
Well, their lineup is not as deep as some of the other teams in the league. I mean, period. And
Oklahoma is 0 for 14 with the bases loaded in league play.
Wow. That almost feels like flukish.
Their offensive stats are really bad. They pitch pretty well, but Oklahoma is swimming offensively. 16, 16, 11, 8, 10, 15, 11, 15, 14, 13, 15, 11.
That is not a recipe for winning.
And then, look, I'm beginning to, and we're going to stop here. I'll quit throwing numbers at people, but you can read it at rebelgrove.com, link to the top and on the front page. Missouri, this is some epic stuff. Like, the Tigers, historically awful, might not even scratch here at this point through 12 league games. Remember, they scored some runs against LSU and Ole Miss and played Ole Miss in a windstorm where if you hit a ball in the air, it was leaving the yard there at whatever the hell their park is called. Here are their SEC ranks to date offensively. 15, 15, 16, 16, 16, 14, 16, 16, 14, 16, 15, 16, 15.
And I bet their pitching numbers are worse.
Yeah. I haven't looked, but yeah.
Did you see the stat on their weekend against Arkansas?
No.
Arkansas had 20 offensive innings.
Mm-hmm.
And they scored 51 runs.
Did they really?
Yeah. I mean, they beat Missouri by a combined score of, I saw the stat yesterday. It was wild. 51-9. That just doesn't happen in the SEC.
I think I would set the over-under for Ole Miss wins and losses right now at like 15.5. Somebody's asking. That's where I would go.
Right on the just cut line of the hosting conversation.
Yeah. That's where I'd set it. I want to see one more weekend before I get a little more whatever.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch the Tennessee weekend because you're going to play a really good team. All the noise and distractions and stuff aside,
they're good.
They're good. They're really good. They don't have major weaknesses anywhere. They play with an edge. They're going to get under your skin. You're going to get tested this weekend in a way that you probably haven't been tested since the Arkansas weekend. But Ole Miss came really close to winning 2 out of 3 from Arkansas, who's proven to be a elite SEC team.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be surprised if look, there's no real outcome this weekend that would surprise me, but I won't be surprised if Ole Miss is playing on Sunday to win the series.
I don't think either team sweeps.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, I think, by sweeps. I'm not trying to be. If you told me Tennessee swept, am I stunned? No. If you told me Ole Miss swept Tennessee, am I stunned? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd go, whoa.
Yeah, I'd go, wow. Whoa. That would tell me a whole lot about 2 teams.
Yeah.
But, if you tell me Ole Miss wins one of the first 2 and Sunday is a really competitive game, I totally buy it.
Yeah,
I think Ole Miss, I think we media has a tendency to establish a narrative, and by God, that's the narrative, and we just stick to it. And the narrative going into the season was that Ole Miss wasn't going to be good.
Yeah, I can guarantee you Ole Miss is going to finish better than 15th, which is what they were ranked in the preseason.
Yeah. And so we're doing this thing a little bit where media is not good. I mean, media said the team's not going to be good, and even though we're halfway through the SEC season and the numbers tell you something different, there's a reluctance to steer away from that narrative. And I don't know why. I've never had that problem to just go, hey, we were wrong. It happens.
Crazy stat here to close. Grind. Did y'all know Duke was the first team in NCAA tournament history to lose a game where they shot a better percentage, more free throws, less turnovers, and had more assists? 335 and 1 now after that loss.
I had that stat on 10 Weekend Thoughts.
There you go. Didn't see that.
That's what I said. Cooper Flag should be punished. It's as simple as that. Listen, he should be punished. You You missed that shot that would have put your team into the final. There's only one. I mean, some people out there are like, hey, you should banish him to Siberia. I'm like, no, it's too harsh. And some people are like, just give him a break. And I'm like, no, that's why we can't continue to coddle America's youth. There is an answer here, and it is to make him the 14th pick in the draft.
Yes, there you go. In the SEC, Ole Miss was picked only ahead of Missouri in the preseason poll there with the coaches. That's what I was talking about. So
we'll give the SEC credit. Give the media credit. They nailed Missouri.
They got Missouri right. No problem.
Got that
done.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah. So, all right, back tomorrow again. Probably a little earlier start tomorrow as well. RebelGrove.com, MPW Digital. We'll have any portal news as it comes up. So take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.